Singapore is often described as one of the most perfectly designed cities in the world. Known for its futuristic skyline, spotless streets, efficient public transport, and world-class infrastructure, the city-state has become a global example of urban planning done right. Tourists admire it, businesses invest in it, and governments study it. But at the same time, some critics argue that Singapore is overrated. They say it is too strict, too expensive, and lacks the cultural chaos that gives many great cities their character. So the big question is Singapore really the world's best designed city, or is it simply overrated hype? Let's explore both sides of the story. A city designed with precision. One thing almost everyone agrees on is that Singapore is incredibly well planned. Unlike many cities that grow randomly over time, Singapore was developed with a clear long-term vision. Urban planners carefully designed neighborhoods, transport systems, green spaces, and commercial districts. For example, residential areas are built close to schools, shopping centers, parks, and public transportation. This means residents rarely need to travel far for daily needs. The famous Housing Development Board, HDB, system has provided affordable housing to the majority of Singapore's population while keeping neighborhoods organized and modern. This level of planning is rare in large cities, and it is one reason why many experts consider Singapore a model for urban design. Cleanliness and efficiency. Singapore is also famous for its cleanliness. Strict laws and heavy fines discourage littering, vandalism, and other activities that damage public spaces. As a result, the streets, parks, and subway stations remain impressively clean. The public transport system is another highlight. The MRT trains are fast, reliable, and well connected. Buses cover almost every corner of the island. Because of this efficiency, many residents do not even need to own a car. Compared with many major cities that struggle with traffic congestion and pollution, Singapore feels organized and smooth. A green city in the middle of urban life. Despite being one of the most densely populated countries in the world, Singapore has managed to maintain a remarkable amount of greenery. The government actively promotes the idea of a city in a garden. Massive projects like Gardens by the Bay and the famous Super Tree Grove showcase how nature and modern architecture can blend together. Even the airport, Jewel Changi Airport, includes the world's tallest indoor waterfall surrounded by lush plants. Green roofs, vertical gardens, and tree-lined streets help reduce heat and make the city feel more livable. For many urban planners, Singapore proves that dense cities can still be environmentally friendly. Safety and quality of life. Another major reason people admire Singapore is its safety. Crime rates are extremely low compared with most global cities. Residents often feel comfortable walking alone late at night, something that cannot be said for many other major urban centers. Healthcare, education, and infrastructure are also top class. The city regularly ranks near the top in global quality of life indexes. International businesses choose Singapore as their Asian headquarters because of its stability and efficient systems. These factors make the city attractive not only for tourists but also for professionals and families from around the world. The cost of living problem. However, not everyone sees Singapore as perfect. One of the biggest criticisms is its high cost of living. Housing, cars, and everyday expenses can be extremely expensive compared with many other Asian cities. For example, owning a car requires a special certificate that can cost tens of thousands of dollars. This policy helps control traffic, but it also makes private transportation a luxury. Some critics argue that while the city looks impressive, it may not be affordable for everyone. Strict rules and limited freedom. Singapore is also famous for its strict laws. Chewing gum sales are restricted, littering can lead to heavy fines, and certain public behaviors are tightly regulated. Supporters say these rules are necessary to maintain order and cleanliness. Critics, however, argue that such strict control can limit personal freedom and creativity. Some travelers even describe Singapore as a city that feels a little too perfect or overly controlled compared with places like Bangkok or Tokyo, where the atmosphere feels more spontaneous and chaotic. Does Singapore lack character? Another common argument is that Singapore can feel somewhat artificial. Because it is so clean, modern, and organized, some visitors feel it lacks the historic charm or street culture found in older cities. However, this view is debated. Areas like Chinatown, Little India, and Kampong Glam still preserve cultural heritage, traditional markets, and vibrant street life. In fact, Singapore's multicultural identity, combining Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences, creates a unique cultural mix that many people appreciate. Why urban planners study Singapore? Despite criticisms, experts around the world continue to study Singapore's approach to urban development. Its policies on housing, transportation, water management, and green spaces have influenced many other cities. Countries facing rapid urbanization are especially interested in how Singapore manages high population density while maintaining efficiency and livability. In many ways, Singapore represents a possible future model for sustainable megacities. So, is Singapore overrated or the world's best designed city? The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Singapore may not have the messy charm of older cities, and its strict laws and high costs are real concerns. But at the same time, its incredible planning, safety, infrastructure, and environmental vision make it one of the most impressive urban experiments in modern history. Whether you love it or criticize it, Singapore has achieved something few cities have. It has created a functioning, efficient, and forward-looking urban environment that millions of people admire. And perhaps that's the real answer. Singapore may not be perfect, but it is undeniably one of the most fascinating and carefully designed cities the world has ever seen.